Greetings, mortals. I am Nates, the ruler of the underworld. The end of the week is here, and it's time to talk about some manga that we read. So yeah, I don't know. This week, I don't think there was anything that much, that interesting per se in terms of what the development. Since a lot of them were kind of like one of those. How do I say this? Those like in between paces. The things that kind of get rushed or get quickly over in the anime type of stuff. But yeah, regardless, it's the end of the week, so let's talk about them. So we'll start off with This Time for Torture Princess, chapter 230, titled No Torture 230. I'm kind of surprised how many chapters this series has, since, it's not like there's any kind of indication that it's going to be ending anytime soon. It's only in 230, which is odd, because especially since all of series aren't going for that long now. Well, at least so in Jump series. But anyways, this torture, we start this chapter off with Princess eating a hamburger, which is excellent taste in food, as always, Princess. As Princess kind of surprised by the fact this hamburger, because it's so tasty, isn't the torture. Which the torture informs her that, since they've already done a hamburger for a torture, it would be kind of repetitive to use the same one. Which, to be fair, it's point with the princess. I don't think you have to do different types of torture. I think just giving her any random food would be enough to get her to spill secrets, but whatever. The torture reforms to the real torture comes with Coca-Cola. Now, I'm entirely convinced that this is supposed to be like a marketing scheme or something. Like how in movies they'll put like posters of certain products all over the place, or very noticeable. But regardless, torture is telling her this is the real torture, that this taste of drinking Coca-Cola at the same time as hamburger, because that's kind of like the iconic image, would be the best. And Prince is like, you deviant. As she says, no, I am her spear about being the third imperial princess and all that. Says that water will be enough to quench her thirst. But unfortunately for Princess, water, why did quench her first? It's not a factor, as Torture is going all actual villain on her, as she's like doing the whole manipulative talk behind the ear thing, as she's like pouring Coca-Cola in her empty glass of water and telling her, because you did not want to resist, you just wanted to submit faster and all that kind of deal, because because again, like, what is good and all, but it's not exactly the same kind of satisfaction like Coca-Cola has at the same time. So, Tots does cheers with Princess as they drink Coca-Cola, and Princess admits all of this another secret. At this point, I do have to want. I know we don't find out every secret we've did. In fact, I think the last couple of sessions did not even reveal what secrets the princess was talking about. But at this point, I feel like they probably do have enough secrets to infiltrate, unless they lose all the actually good secrets. But regardless, of non-fine torture, I think this is just more of a back to the roots kind of thing, because I think the last couple of chapters were a lot more unique in terms of story. So yeah, anyways, then we get to My Academia, chapter 422, titled Izuku Midoriya Rising! Which I think is like the final important character who had like a rising kind of thing. I mean, most of the other characters have like origins, but this is more like just one of these kind of chapter titles. And probably one of the final chapter titles, those, if we're being honest to ourselves, since it seems like the story could be wrapping up in a. Well, Alright, I need to check the. Okay, I think we need to check to see what the number of chapters or volume is right now, because if it's like a few more chapters for the story, then I imagine, like, if let's say one volume is missing 3 more chapters, I feel like that's how many chapters we'll have. The final one will probably be a lot longer than a normal chapter, because I think epilogues the final chapters I think are longer. But regardless, we can sort of guess. But regardless, let's get into this chapter. We'll talk about how many chapters we have remaining next week. Most because I didn't research for this week. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with Arya, where we left last week with Ayama pulling Izuku, but that immediately gets stopped because the chaos is like forcing Oyama to stay behind. Oyama isn't like as mobile of a person as Izuku is, so Oyama is like, "Go, Izuku!" As Aizawa is like, "Wait, I need to wait. We can use Kogiri to get the portal and things to teleport. I mean, this is the distance that he doesn't need to add the location of to get in there." As Aizawa looks at Kogiri, as he sees Kogiri just being kind of like the ambers, like there's barely any cloud laugh around Kogiri. As Kogiri is basically, or Shirkumo as I call him, is basically out of the fight. Well, again, no spoilers for next week. Well, you get what I mean. So yeah, anyways, then we get like a bit of a confirmation that despite all of these heroes being there, it's not like they can actually do anything to All For One. Like they can send attacks and they can destroy and they can save themselves by counter-attacking those guys, but they can't really, do anything. But they can't really break through to All For One. They cannot do serious damage to him. So they're kind of just like stuck attacking him, but not really affecting much of the fight. As then, All For One uses his Omni Factor Unleash ability, the one that he used against Bakugo when he was being reduced to a baby. As we get a bit more information about this move, and All For One explains to him that this ability that he used against Bakugo was actually not a completed state, or it wasn't being used as it should be, because this isn't like a thing where you just randomly start pulling everything out of your body. It's more of a controlled thing, like you use every single quirk at the same time. So when that form of All For One was going against Bakugo, it was just kind of a rampaging bullet, not a, well, in this state, a scorpion-like creature. So sure, so All For One didn't hit Bakugo correct, so it wasn't used correctly, which I feel like is mostly there just to kind of explain, or like a way to make this form look a bit more powerful, because it's like supposed to be his. I think that the real body of form was going like its perfect form, or perfect ultimate attack or something, that it failed its first attack. So it was shown. So okay, it's probably meant more to justify it. So yeah, anyway, then we get like a bunch of panels and moments where we basically just go have a Izuku getting in danger of being attacked by All For One, him being ready to dodge it, but then or block it or something, as some hero class 1A or anyone who is on Izuku's side shows up and helps. Like you have Ojiro and Sato destroying some attacks. You have Kirishima, Mina, and I think Fat Gum like pushing one attack away. You have Gentle like making the ground rubber, so Izuku would have even more of a movability advantage against All For One and all that stuff. And all of them all cheering on Izuku to be able, like he can do it. He's the only one whose attack force could do it. His full power attack force, even in the current state, is more than powerful enough to defeat All For One on anything they can do. It's essentially like even, and they should not waste it. Basically, Izuku's attack power is here while everyone else is here. But Izuku, if he uses the more he uses it, it's going to equationally become weaker, being unable to do it. Anything with All For One, while everyone else would just not really have a difference. I mean, they will probably get weaker by this, while Izuku will be by this. So they don't want to waste Izuku's power and in order to defeat All For One. And alongside the heroes like Dafams and Class 1A and all the others, we also cut a bit around the world to, well, not around the world much. It's only America for a overused America too late kind of joke, which again is like just overused in itself. But regardless, we cut more around Japan as we see like a bunch of civilians supporting him, the civilians that we've seen throughout the story, like the Kancha C kid and those like news reporters that we've seen. We also see like the characters who aren't able to participate in the battle, like Ochako and Bakugo, as well as people in the UA facility, and even Omai, who is currently being helped by the American soldiers that came there and had shot as well, which is at this point just like little snake. As and during this whole like you can do it, Izuku, we have all for one analyzing the situation. Like, why are these insignificants, these bugs who can't do squat to me, so determined to do it? They can't do shit. As he then remembers his words about Izuku and think about the things that Nana told him when he encountered when Nana and Yuchi faced off in the previous war against All For One, as as he realizes that despite how weak Izuku is, they're all cheering and that he can do it. Which is also kind of like a thing, like referencing the start of the story where Ochako was like, Daku sounds like a name, sounding like you can do it. So they're all. So it's kind of like this very nice scene. It's gonna be very dramatic and emotional once it gets animated. I think what the anime is doing for the season 7 of My Academia is like splitting up in two parts. Like you have part 1, which is gonna be up to the middle of the war. Probably, I mean, I guess the battle between Shiraki and the UA coffin place could be considered like a good. I guess the spinner's moment could be kind of considered like a good like cut point, but then you're gonna have like part 2 when with all of this stuff, because again, like this is not, because I doubt like we can have like a without full season for this part of the story. So yeah, we have of that kind of moment going on here. So we just have a bunch of encouragement, as we even have, uh, which, fun enough, Oma and the U.S. soldiers are a bit more comical when it comes to the whole situation. Not comical, haha, fun, laugh funny. More like, I guess we survived thanks to you, Oma, huh? As almost like, yeah, I thought these kids want the ultimate victory, so I thought I should help them. No losses on that case, which I doubt there are no losses. Like, I feel like the number of villains, like, just the sheer amount of the general widespread destruction, I think guaranteed a few deaths. Like, it may be no names or people we've just seen the backgrounds, but there's definitely more deaths than there's definitely a few carcasses around. Like, I'm not just talking about legal villains members. I'm talking like every hero, civilian, and all that. There's definitely a few of them. But yeah. Anyways, with all that like moment of build up and characters supporting, as you can imagine, this chapter ends with Izuku finally landing at the end of the chapter. Finally landing a hit on All For One Shigaraki to conclude the battle in the next chapter. So yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this chapter is bad, but it's definitely a chapter that will work better in the anime than in the manga format. Like, just the simple fact that you could have like a very unfortunate amount of day when it comes to logging and computer stuff. But regardless, it's a pretty decent chapter. A nice kind of portion to finally build up for the final end of the fight. So yeah, anyways, next we have Four Knights of the Apocalypse, chapter 149, titled Violation. I mean, yeah, I definitely would say what Walden is doing to the kids, to King Dian's kids, is definitely violation of some children, right? But yeah, anyways, before we get to that, we start this chapter off with what Tiore, military, and Nazians are kind of doing, and with them, like Tiore and Nazians can't leave that protective dome, and military. Honestly, I don't know if it's exhaustion or what. Just the fact, because I think it's implied to be more just his health generally. He's kind of unable to do anything, so he's just kind of like coughing down there as Nazians and Theoya look at him and hoping everything turns out well, because I mean, I don't know if Miltra is actually going to die, is in danger of dying by this, at least not right now, because I think he takes his pills pretty regularly, all things considered. but still, it's like one of those things where it's like we really should. Can we, Father, can you quickly take this dome off, please? Even if it's just saying. I know you have a situation in all, and and Sixes is magic is fading, but Melch is also fading right here. But regardless, we have Nazian saying kind of regret how Miltre is on the ground, coughing and all that, because he's a doctor and now he has someone that's so close and is dying of illness, something that he should be able to deal with. But Miltre is kind of more like fine. He views this more as a consequence of his actions, because brainwash or not, and whatever, he still did hurt Nazian and Tiore. In fact, he even admits that he was a bastard towards Nazians. Like, he was straight up just mean to him for like no reason at all. So he does regret it logically. Like I said, it's more the way. Like I said, as soon as the initial shock wears off, everything's gonna be more chill up from these amongst these characters. As Nazians is very chill about. He understands about, or he does get why Milche would be pissed off, and says that he'll forgive Melcher if he apologizes to Tiore for, almost choking her out. And Melcher is yes, and Tiore tells him that she'll only forgive Melcher if he apologizes to Nazians, which, consider the fact that everyone's kind of on the same page now, is pretty easy, like we all could have expected. But anyway, says they are apologizing and reconciling to make the sibling edition more natural. We have Diane and King, Diane mostly running towards Six's location as she screams to Diane, to her children, "Everyone, just sit tight a little bit longer. We'll go help Sixes." As King is on her shoulder. As funny thing is, they don't actually recognize King in his normal form or not full wing formed, because they're like confused. Is that Sixes? Because Sixes and King's first appearance resemble each other pretty well. So yeah, I imagine the anime is probably gonna give them like a bit more of a different hairstyle and probably an eye color as well. But right now the two of them look very much the same. So yeah, they're a bit confused on this and all, but they can't really they can't really talk and discuss much, especially since no, they can do a bit more now because King, as he's going, he's having a really hard time with the magic that was sealed off because of Kilbegon's sacrifice. As I think he wanted to cancel it so he could get the second his spear back to attack, because it's like limited to only like one form now. It's not as I think it's meant to be taken like he cannot change forms as quickly as he previously did. Now he's just kind of like, oh, I have to okay, I need to concentrate to remove the dome to get a weapon. Alright, I need to concentrate just so much into this. Like, it has to be more effort in it. As as King also comments the fact that these chaos nets are a lot more hazardous than they were expected, because I don't want to say that Chaos Knights have really been weak, but it's not like they've really accomplished much in terms of combat and threat level. Like, they've done few things, but you could probably just name them on top of your fingers how many times they were legitimately threatening. So, something like Kilbegon sacrificing his life to seal his powers off, while another one is absolutely dominating Sixes, someone who he had confidence in that he could defeat the anime. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem here. But anyways, King and Diane are approaching that location as Wardane and the siblings are about to start their fight. Which coin is a fight is a bit of a exaggeration, because it's way more of an annihilation or a slaughter or one-sided massacre, because Wardane is not bothered by any of these. Like previously, it was been clear how these all rank in power, but it's very clear that the gap between all the siblings, except Sixes, Theore, and Meltre, versus against Sextus is like insane. Like we have the third, fourth, son, the one that's like the most fairy-like of them all, uh, uses it first tries to tie her up using some vine, but Theo just uses a spell that sets the vine on blaze, and that hits him, knocking him out. Then that golem that hit Theo previously goes for a punch, but the Voladane just completely blasts through the golem right through the first daughter, I believe, and knocking her down with the other two, with the second daughter and the and the okay, they said that the third one doesn't have the like next Nazians doesn't have a gender because of the fairy lineage, but the third giant child and the second youngest go there for like a punch and a stamp, but Lordane just uses her helmet. She was trying to raise it up a bit before uh, but anyways, uses her helmet to just cut through their stomachs. It's not like completely like they're in two pieces, but it's like you got cut very deep into your body, so the two of them fall down as we have all of them basically getting one shot by Theo Voldane as Voldane puts her helmet back on, covered in blood, just absolutely massacring them. Like, Jesus Christ, Voldane is like, I mean, I understand that Ironside was used to as a way to build up Bond's reintroduction to the story to like show just how powerful they are and why they have to be worried about that, why the four evils are not should not be going up against the sins. But Jesus Christ, well Dane is really fucking cover is making up for Ironside's slack. Like I am still not convinced that they could hold a candle against any of them. Like, there's no reason why she sealed King's power. She knew that she couldn't beat him in his full power, but regardless, she came to this fight prepared and is ready to take names. So yeah. Anyways, as she's done massacring the siblings, she's about thinking that it would be kind of poetic if they all died together. As Diane throws King up so he can have an easier time with his attack to defeat Waldane, as he uses a form of secret of his spear to strike at her, and be like, good luck dodging that. As Waldane just casually uses a spell to, well, I don't want to say redirect, just kind of the speed goes to strike her, but then around her butt, my speed just goes below her, around her, and then continues its strike. And instead of it goes instead of for World Day, it goes for Nauseant's Meltre and Theory. I guess the healing spell that Nauseant's used on Meltre takes effect quickly. Maybe Nauseant's already had like the drug that Melcher was taking, King memorized, and in his repertoire, he's just using it. He just needed to like be, like one of those things where you need to be in the same room thing, or like at least you couldn't have given it to Melcher immediately. But regardless, we have them approaching the situation, but they are now in the line of a strike. As well, then comments to King, "Oh, you want this attack to protect your family, but now it's going to kill your family." At least three of them. As Six is while he's still on the ground, begging like the sacred tree to give him a bit more power so he could protect his family, and his siblings, but well, his family and siblings. But unfortunately for him, well, fortunately I would say, for him, while the tree doesn't give him the power to be able to protect his siblings, it does give the power to Nauseans. And Nauseans is now able to use the fairy magic to take control of the spear as it was going towards him. As we end the chapter with that. So, yeah. Now, I doubt that Nauseans is now just going to dominate Waldane, because, like, why would he with this? So instead, So instead, but because he managed to save that, I imagine it's gonna be like one of those things where Walden is like, huh, I guess that kid did have magic power after all, because like no one expected Nazian to have like, because Nazian has never used, he used poison magic, but he hadn't used like any of their fairy stuff. So there will be comments from it, but and they will even more confirm yes, Nazian is their brother. But regardless, I don't think he's gonna be able to do much, especially considering how dominating Walden has been. If anything, I feel like it's more likely that Diane will show up and start slamming her down, because it doesn't seem Walden did anything, prepare anything for Diane. Granted, considering the fact that Diane is would go for the two weakest members, versus and considering how powerful Walden appears to be, it's very likely that Walden can actually, beat Diane in a more fair fight. But for right now, I feel like it's very likely that if anyone's beating the shit out of Volden, it's gonna be Diane, no one else, because all the siblings are clearly outmatched. King is Seal, and that's kind of the whole main point of the Kilbegon's death. Diane is the only one that can really, beat the shit out of her. So, yeah, I imagine that there will be a fight between Volden and Diane next chapter. It's just questionable how it's going to play out. But regardless, that's it for the Apocalypse, as we now go to Eden's Zero, chapter 287, titled 10, 27 Jewels. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what this chapter is supposed to be referencing, but whatever. It might be referencing a universe that a Big Bang happened, but I'm not entirely certain. Regardless, we start this chapter off with the fights in the air still, well, in the space still being complete chaos, with some of the chronophages attacking, going around and destroying planets, as all the ships that are currently fighting will be like, evasion maneuvers! If you get hit by it, you're done for! A little joke about erase, so being like, I don't want to be erased, and all that, but regardless, things are very chaotic, and things really are not looking good for the Caps. Like, first they kind of look good with basically just cleaning up the Eden's one's vehicles, but now it's kind of, just complete and utter chaos. As we cut back to Shiki versus the Time Priestess, as Shiki's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? As the Time Priestess says, this world does not have the time that she needs or the time she wants, and she thinks it's best to just destroy everything. Which Shiki's against, because this time isn't yours to destroy. It belongs to everyone. It reflects on his journey, because again, we're coming to an end. Like, I mean, I'm not saying again how many chapters we have of Eden Zero still, but the story is probably going to come to an end. I wouldn't be surprised if like chapter 300 or something is gonna be when the story ends, or like a little bit before that. I think we are like, you can calculate the chapters if you just look at the numbers for volumes. But regardless, we then have Shiki go into his overdrive state, which is his no, which is his like main overdrive form, because he kind of swapped it out previously. As he used that form, as the time is like, oh, his power is now like a black hole. Because that's one of it, the most like black hole demonic looking. As we have them going to a little bit far in this form, Shiki's actually overwhelming her, because remember in the previous forms, he was being, well, in the base forms, the princess was very much demolishing Shiki with her speed and time and all that. As Shiki is destroying her in the overdrive form, she goes into her own overdrive form, which is something that Shiki is surprised by. Probably because no antagonist, I think, has used overdrive in this arc. Well, none of the Dark Star. I mean, wait, have they? Okay, I know Clown didn't use it. Killer and Brigandine, I also don't think used it. I think Wizard might have used it against Witch. Probably, I think. Aknoel, I think was in her overdrive when she showed up. Everyone else, I don't think he did. So yeah, Shiki is definitely surprised by the fact that Mashima gave Amy an overdrive form because he seems to have completely forgotten about that. I do wonder if there's gonna be some volume context saying, "Oh, yeah, I completely forgot that these characters have overdrive, so they had none," or the fights would prolong too much. It's not like we actually have done much to change the outcomes or something. But yeah, anyways, as she as uh, time process in her overdrive form is starting to regain the advantage in the battle. She talks about how this universe's time is wrong and it's not and does not matter. As she'll say, she said, so she was gonna show them a universe, which I think is Universe 1027. At least that's what I'm assuming this is referring to. As she says, how this universe was destroyed by the Big Bang. So Big Bang Theory time. I think it's unclear if this we're cutting to a flashback to this universe to explain what this time process is because we didn't destroy the mask or the helmet. Although in this overdrive form, she looks more robotic than in the previous form. So who knows if the point time process is Rebecca. But speaking of Rebecca, we cut to where the real main timeline Rebecca is, as Mother is about to disappear and everything's kind of going into chaos. As Rebecca is like, her Shiki Mother's about to be gone because they're on a time crunch now. Like they do not have much time left to bring the chronophage here to eat Mother and revert her back to being a planet. So yeah, they are this chapter is definitely supposed to dial up the stakes a bit since let's be honest, so the stakes have been kind of in the Sub-Zero category for a while now. But yeah, anyways, with Mashima's Eden Zero series over, let's get with two Eden Zero's to Mashima's most iconic work, Fairy Tail, 100 Years Quest, chapter 159, titled Fire Illusion Reveals. A weird chapter title because it's not like they reveal the illusions. We knew the guy was an illusionist, and we know it's just and the guy in the characters don't get around his illusions, but whatever. So we start this chapter off with where we last left off with Wade and Azar, with Azar wondering who is he? Can I help you? Because she can tell this guy means business. Like this isn't just well, alright, in their context, it would not be as weird getting like a giant knight showing up like behind her and being and all that because she is like first trying to be like she it might just be maybe she's thinking that this is just a guy who's asking for directions or something or stuff like that, but it's very clean on. She knows that this is not the case because immediately the guy unsheaths his flame sword as like, wait, we didn't play this place is a villains, we're in town. If we're gonna have a fight, let's at least go somewhere where people aren't gonna be in danger. But Ray doesn't give a shit as he starts to strike at Azra as they have like a little bit of a blow where he slams his sword over the place a bit. And Azra is her base form, but unfortunately for Azra, her base form sword or her base, I think just a regular sword would probably work just as well, just gets destroyed by the amount of blows and the force coming at them. So Azra needs to equip her Fire Empress armor to get to fight them, as they, in traditional anime style, now go into a bit of a conversation. As Azra wonders who he is, why is he attacking, and all that stuff. As Wade, I don't think Wade says that he's a member of the Fire and Flame Dark Guild. He just says that he's Wade, the strongest, swordsman in this continent. There's some debate about him, Suzuku now, but honestly, I feel like some of these strongest swordsmen, unless if it's straight up mentioned or like straight up brought up immediately. Oh, wait, what about the other guy? The Abollos member, the guy who I think ate some kind of sword themed dragon. What about that guy? Okay, let's if you immediately bring that person up. I think it's likely that Wade just has like the biggest reputation as a swordsman, and by that extent also being known as the strongest swordsman. swordsman kind of thing. Since Suzaku, I think he's a relatively chill of a guy, so I could see the guy not be like I could see like Suzaku just pulling it off at force into his katana strikes to defeat an enemy quickly, while Vei does a more of a spectacle about how he destroys his opponents. You know, like regardless of how you feel about that, if you just cut one down quickly, there's a guy who destroys an entire building alongside the opponent. That guy's gonna look a bit more strong, powerful. So I'm guessing it's kind of like that kind of situation, but we don't know. Maybe there's gonna be some history revealed, but I don't think there's any hints to history about like Suzaku being defeated by someone before this. But who knows? I'm guessing it's like supposed to just be a bit of build up for Vedic to know what the hell is going on with him. Especially since I feel like otherwise it would not make sense for him to fight Azra, because it's revealed in this chapter that the reason why Vei wants to personally fight Azra is because she is regarded as the strongest swordswoman in her continent. Which Azra says that, oh, there's plenty of people on her level in there, which is honestly kind of true, because of how some people talk about Gildarts, how Natsu is, and you know, generally speaking, there's a lot of characters who feel like they're on the same level, yet they still say that people are stronger than them for very few, small reasoning, or very little to cover it up or back it up, kind of deal. So, regardless, Wade says that he wants to fight as a swordsman, which again, like I don't. But to be fair, I don't think there's anyone that could beat Azra in a sword. I mean, who exactly is, as I was saying, is her equal in a swordsman fight? I mean, characters who actually use blades as weapons, not just make blades to like as an extra amount. Like I'm sure Gray uses a blade, some ice blade. I wouldn't call him an ice swordsman if you get my drift. But I'm again not entirely. So maybe she's referring to Kagura, but I mean, granted, I don't think we've. I mean, wait, how I'm forgetting. How did the battle between Kagura and Azra end? Was it an actual conclusion in terms of combat, or was like I remember Azra slicing down Minerva, but I can't remember how the fight, how Kagura herself got taken down. But regardless, again, I don't think anyone's putting Kagura above Azra, or anyone is putting Kagura on the same level as Azra. Like, I don't think anyone's doing that. So, regardless, Azra is the strongest. So, Azra and the Red fight as they make a bit of a resolve there, saying that Azra does not care about the whole title of the strongest swordsman, who it is, which is the more likely answer. But what she does care about is someone who is like going to harm her family, her fans. She's not going to allow that because then she'll rise her blades and doing that epic speech that Vader is known for, as where it's like fine with the result, like fine if you don't desire to be the strongest, I'm chill with that. But I care about who is the strongest, and I want to find out who between us is the strongest. Which makes me think now he would have to go up against Suzaku, even if he isn't being reported as called the strongest. But regardless, they're going to have a fight, which because this is the style of an arc, I kind of feel like I could lose this, because what Mashman does often is when he's introducing a new group of bad guys, he does have them win, even if he later has them like lose easily. It's just like it's like Signario Sisters. In the style of the arc, they are able to toy with Azra, Minerva, and Joel. But then when the actual final fight's happening, both of them are mid-diff by Azra. So it's like one of those things where it's like one of those things where it's like we all know Azra is going. So it's like I'm not surprised if Red beats Azra here, but Azra beats him later or something like this. Regardless, they're all ready to start their fight. Anyways, then we cut to Natsu, Gray, Lucy, Randy, and the Cats team as they want to learn more about the guild because the bartender doesn't want to reveal to them. He knows stuff, but he doesn't want to reveal to them because he thinks they're just going to get there and get slaughtered and killed. because the dark guilt is so terrifying. You're killing just kids. Like when is not even fucking reaching over the counter, people. You literally remember who's a child, even though I think she's supposed to be 16. But regardless, when while they're still trying to get the information, is actually starts smelling some kind of weird fire as she goes outside. Which the first thought that some people have is like Natsu, because Natsu is the first fire mentioned kid. And the first like burning building, that's kind of nuts. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised not to just by pure accident would end up just burning an entire building without noticing it. And they even commented that how Natsu's taking a little too long to be that guy. Even though I feel like they would have went with Natsu to bring the actual source of information. But regardless, it's mostly just so they could have a fight with Roy. But anyways, when he goes outside, as soon as she goes outside, she's in a different place, in a weird forest-like place, where she encounters, where as she turns around to like get a better surroundings, she sees a weird sunflower with hands and legs that kind of gives me the vibe of calling police on a pedophile vibes. And then we get to the other characters leaving, as we have Lucy again there, but unlike Wendy, who's in the forest, she's in the clouds, looking like she's like standing on air in the sky. As another like weird like jelly phallic looking creature is there, and like, oh, you're such a pretty lady, let me hug you, let's cuddle. As this thing starts to have Lucy chase around. As Raj is finding his reactions by these two hilarious being, oh my god, they don't even realize in the illusions. As he's also having fun because he's using these illusions that he created are actually reference to Mashima's earlier work, Rave Master, which is the funny thing about Rave Masters, despite being like Mashima's first work, it seems also to be kind of like his least popular one, because no one I think talks about it. I mean, but regardless, these two characters are apparently from that. No, I have no idea about the context of these two characters. I have no idea about what these two characters are, because while I am planning on watching Rave Master, uh, and I have watched the first episode of Rave Master, although considering how the dub is for that series, I'm not gonna be watching a dub. Like, I mean, I don't have a problem with dubs as much as others people do have, but that dub for Rave Master was like, was it for kids dub? Was that what that thing was? Was it for kids? Because that is kind of the thing I'm feeling would have to prevent from 4 kids. Because, I mean, one of the earliest 4 kids, I'm gonna honestly believe, because that was like awful. But regardless of that whole Rave Master, Mr. Daw being one of my biggest regrets of the year, we I have no context for these characters. All I know is that these guys are from Rave Master, and I don't know really how he plans to use these guys, because this is apparently 2 manga series that he's referencing inside of your work, his previous work. But regardless, he's having them appear there. He's having them fight and going up against Lucy and Wendy. Not to know how he's going to use them. Is he going to attack with fire behind it? Like he's gonna have them like fake attack where there's gonna be a fire attacks or something. I don't really know, but regardless, the one that's actually interesting and the important one is that when Gray leaves, he and Ross mentions which one he sent after Gray. He sent Hien. Hien from That Rock, that new monthly series that Mashima made, the guy who died surprisingly uh, 2 months ago or 1 month ago. Yeah, he's gonna go up against Gray. Cue the memes that Gray is so incapable of fighting anyone who's not an ice mage that even going up against a guild filled with fire users, he still somehow ends up finding a fire mage, an ice mage. Although in that case it will be an ice samurai fox creature, but regardless, he's going to go up against Hien. I mean, that's what Hien actually went. He didn't actually die, but just get teleported in Fairy Tail. although to be fair, honestly, I mean, this is clearly just Marshmallow promoting his other works, probably because Wave Master is not as popular, and probably to get some popularity for that rock. It's like a monthly series. Now I'm not interested if it was, you know, I know how much referencing there was to that series previously. But regardless, we have Lucy versus a weird jelly creature, and Wendy versus a pedophilic sunflower, while Gray fights a icebox. Which I'm assuming again, it's gonna be like a thing where Gray is going to think that he's fighting ice, while in reality he's fighting fire, which is probably gonna give him like an advantage, like his ice will get destroyed quickly or something. It's gonna be like deception attacks. And I have to wonder how power scalers for Marshmallows works are gonna react to this. Like, are they gonna put all the characters in that rock already on the levels of characters in Fairy Tail or something? But regardless, we end this chapter off with that, and yeah, it's again, I could see these fights being easy victories for these characters because again, it's earlier on, and maybe to build up who are gonna help the characters who are gonna help Fairy Tail beat these antagonists or something, or whatever side quest these guys are gonna, or the group that's gonna be on the side quest to help Fairy Tail. But regardless, we have to see how things play out. So yeah. Anyways, now that we ended up that series with the mangaka that has so many series that he can constantly reference each one in his work, it's time to go to a manga whose single series has so many characters and plot points that he's able to make it basically you can have reference a bunch of other series in it. And that is of course One Piece, chapter 1114, titles The Wings of Icarus. You know, the famous story about the guy who had wax wings but and flew up in the sky, but well, to the sun, but you know, wax and sun did not melt well together, and he ended up falling. Which is basically referencing Vegapunk's story, and all, which is also kind of brought up in Vegapunk. So yeah. Anyways, we start this chapter off with the reaction of the world to the information about the world sinking, with most of the first chapters being more like finding it hilarious and, you know, stupid, and being like, what the heck is he talking about? Like, you know, being more like, because it's like, you just get told, oh yeah, the world's just going to sink, like, who's going to believe you immediately? As characters just react to it this way. As you don't have we focus first on like Marines with someone screaming and shouting like, what the heck nonsense is he talking about, and being like the way the Marines are viewing this is more like you are regarded as the famous as the most intelligent person on the planet. It does whatever nonsense you spew will make people people will believe you for it. So stop talking nonsense. Which is there's a lot of the people screaming at Vegapunk to stop talking nonsense for what he could do, what the consequences could be to the world. As even Suzaku is kind of like we don't see him like expressing his fault, but he's like, oh shit, things are going even worse. As then we have some characters also laughing at Vegapunk like, what nonsense is that? But then we got to Water 7, who has like a similar thing, but they are more like used to it. As people from Water 7 are like, yeah, the idea of island sinking is not that weird to us. The island which constantly has to build on top of the first one. But still, the whole world sinking, that's where we have our concerns, Vegapunk. So yeah. Then I think we cut to, I believe, Magellan and Doflamingo in Paldon, which is nice to see that we get to see what's going on there. As Doflamingo is laughing at this information because that's what he does. And it's like, oh, we're gonna sink. What do you think about Magellan? As Magellan just kind of chilling there, like sitting, being like, the world's sinking. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem here. How much do you think does it take to sink an island exactly? I'm actually kind of curious because when that water came over previously, because in the start of the day, which is something that's going to be referenced in this chapter, it was quite concerning. Some of the cells even got flooded when it was at rise. As Doflamingo's like, well, let's see here. I think most places will get islands will sink in like, or most of the islands will get sink when like it was like a 5 meter rise. So yeah, we are definitely getting sunk by this. As then, I'm not certain if this is just supposed to be a very nice, cool way to end this scene with Doflamingo, but we have Doflamingo saying, maybe we should start going higher after you want to protect us prisoners, right, Magellan? So perhaps somewhere else, which is like our spot would be the Holy Land, the Red Line, which honestly, okay, I know this is probably gonna be out of character, but I would love it if Magellan makes Doflamingo like an unofficial leader of Impel Down until they can take over Holy Land. Like it was just gonna be fine. I don't know why, but I kind of just want like the visualization of like Doflamingo being in charge with Magellan like, all right, everyone. We've decided that due to the fact that you guys are all in danger of dying, we'll be moving Impel Down to a higher plane so we can judge you there. So everyone, we are moving to Red Line! Or the Red Line! I don't know why. I just want to see this happening. Like, just the idea of, like, even like his title, like, when we get like name drops of every characters that we get, remember who they are. Like, I would like to say, like, Doflamingo, captain of the new Donkey Holder Impel Down Pirates, and then Magellan, Doflamingo's bodyguard. Oh my god. I mean, the weird thing is, I feel like a lot of people would probably just side with it. Like, persons would probably side with Doflamingo because of his reputation and wanting to save their necks. And I feel like a lot, well, Sadie and her Beast would just side with Magellan because they are into him. Well, Sadie is the Beast, the awakened zones, but why not? But yeah, actually, I could totally see like them. I mean, the only one that really needs to be convinced is Doflamingo. Well, Doflamingo needs to convince Magellan, and then it's all good. But I don't know, we'll see how things are gonna go from this point on. I mean, we know Marco is going to save Weevil, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah. Anyways, then we have the Gorsai's reaction to this. We got back to Arcade Island. It's like, oh shit, this is moving way too much. No, enough going around. We need to kill everyone immediately. Like, now our priority is to destroy every life form. Which, I don't know if this is referring to like everyone, because they do kind of just avoid the people there, and they know this is being broadcasted throughout the world, so it's not like they'll be able to like, alright, we killed everyone they had, alright, now we need to go kill everyone in Albaf, alright, we kill everyone in Albaf, now we need to go to kill everyone in, yeah, like, I don't think that's what they're planning. They're probably just maintain, alright, let's destroy like, no more finding whichever the transpondence now is, now just destroy every thing that is remotely close to it. As we also have like York running around, be like, "Damn you, Vegabug! Just how much do you want to tell them?" Which I'm not entirely sure. This means that York has at least a very good idea on where the snail, just Spondon snail is. But I don't know. Maybe she figured it out and is going to go inform one of the ghosts that where it could be. Because, like, if that, like, one of the main theories on where the Japan snail is, and the one that's going to be kind of, I'll talk about later, but just saying, she kind of needs to inform one of the ghosts about this, so she could, get on the good graces again. But regardless, then we have Vegapunk trying to prove what he's saying is true, to, like, be taken seriously. As he's like, alright, now, this information is going to, confirm it for you. Or at the very least, with this information, you can all be, this information should be considered before you say if I'm talking nonsense or I'm talking the truth, because to be certain. Now, Vegapunk, after the whole Lulusia Kingdom incident, he tells them that there's gonna be a rise in water. The water is gonna rise for, I believe it would say in chapter 4, 1 meter, which is going to sink a few of the islands, which is something we actually see. So he basically explains what happened on that day, which then we have people reacting to that information with I believe it's going to be like, wait a minute, if this is supposed to be Vegapunk from the past, and he's able to predict what happened on this day, that would mean he guessed what was going to happen, meaning that he has a very good chance of what he's saying about the world sinking to be true. Now you see Smoothie again. Granted, it's unclear where they are, if there's anyone else there, because it's just her Montor. And Montor and her were already on the Big Mom Pirate ship in Wano, so it's not exactly clear if they are in Totland or not. Then we also have like people from Blackbeard's Island, with Uzan listening to this as they are be like, oh shit, it's all true, but they're basically believing it. I suppose the Blackbeard pirates are believing this quickly, but whatever, they are all like starting to panic. As the Ryuko Kingdom is also like, Shirokos is worried about what's going to happen as the father is like, this sounds so absurd and all that. So yeah, basically, people not with this prediction. Although to be fair, I feel like you could probably argue that maybe this was Vegapunk with, uh, well, actually, all right. Morgan said, look at the timetable. So I'm not then about the. I mean, I guess if Vegapunk recorded this in a time, well, no one but Edison Shaka would have to be. So it would have to be either very early in the morning. I mean, actually, no. I don't think Morgan does reference the date, because when we asked him where are Straw Hats and all that, he doesn't. Don't be dumb, girl. Look at the date. This is clearly a pre-recording. So look at the pre-recording, and then you look at consider that he is predicting what happened on that very day. Yeah, Vegapunk is definitely telling the truth here. So people are definitely gonna believe that. And there's still going to be some like this people who disagree with that, but this is definitely Vegapunk is telling the truth here. As then we have Saturn also being kind of like done with all this craziness, and all this situation, as he's kind of being dealt with by the characters, but no, he just decides to rampage through it because he senses like senses a snail there in that like his general idea, as he goes charges through the Straw Hats to a different location. He charges through into a laboratory where we see Mother Flame, which is the internal fire source, or the one that he needs York to reproduce and recreate. As the life on that kind of blinds a bit, but he's like, all right, this is tough. Oh, I have to be careful how to destroy this place. As Moss even again reminds mines and not to destroy them because they're weapons back to like little protection that York mentioned, like how this whole thing's gonna be in danger. As Santa then just transforms into his human form, probably to have a safer amount of limited destruction, as he like destroys our response that's in their room, be like, oh, not this one. As he probably is going to go find another one to destroy. Like, they're just destroying these just snails all over the place now at this point. So yeah, anyways, then we got the bill around the places. Also, throughout this whole thing, Vegapunk is just giving like his speech about his sins and all the things that he researched and all that. As everything, all these activities are happening. So yeah, which I do have to wonder how the anime is gonna handle this, because of like in the manga you can read it however you feel like it in terms of order, but here you kind of have to. But in the anime it's gonna be like everything should be happening at the same time, unless we cut from the screen to what the characters are doing, to screen to what the characters are doing, to screen to what the characters are doing. But as while this whole thing's happening, we see some of the Marines going shooting at the Iron Giant, but that Iron Giant is not being affected by this, nor is it react to everything that's going around that. But regardless, this is where the theory about where the real transponder still is. The fact this real transponder is actually in the Iron Giant, because nothing is really damaging it. Nothing is having an effect on it. So as a place to put the real response nail would be probably like the safest place, probably not something you would think of. Like, you would not think a random Iron Giant that's not even like in the main facility, that's like in below the labo phase, to be the one where the place where that whole thing is being kept. But it could be. Plus, that's where Vegapunk was first found, so like I'm sure they put that sale there beforehand, but it would be a very logical place to hide it. So I mean that's what York is going to go inform the Gorosei. That's where the thing is. Right now the Gorosei are aware of the situation, yeah, with the giant, but they'll probably go there quickly. I could see York informing Mars of this, or maybe she got to Saturn as she tells him of this, and then they're like, Mars, go there immediately! As you have then Mars go up there, and then he has to go into a fight against the Iron Giant, but regardless, they're going there. And yeah, anyways, then with that whole situation resolved, or the rest guy was doing this now, Vegapunk goes into his second scene as he explains what's second scene, as he's finally going to talk about the Void Sentry. So then a lot of people have been hoping to get some information on it, thought we'll get a bunch of information from Vegapunk because, when he was saying things up. So yeah, we are finally addressing that part. Yeah. So anyways, what he's saying this about saying, alright, so as some of all you are probably aware of, we have this time period between 900 and 800 years that is not really known. In the history books, we just have, general information like something that the little girl in the orange dome manages. What is he talking about? Does he not know the fact that the 20 founders, 20 kings come together made from the world government? That stuff. But Vegapunk saying, oh, he's aware of that, it's just everything else is kind of vague. Like, who would, I'm assuming there is probably some again, it's kind of limited to not, unless if someone asks Oda, okay, what is the information about that people are allowed to know in the world of One Piece? I don't think we're gonna get into detail what they are aware of, but I do feel like this chapter, I do feel like in this volume there might be an SBS where it's gonna be like, hey Oda, what do this regular civilians in the world know when it comes to the Void Sentry? What, outside of the 20 kings and all that, do they know? Then, well, they definitely know the names of all the 20 kings, but do they also know how the whole do they have general descriptions of it? This king and this king were family, and they were friends with this and this and this queen. Then they came together, and then doing these encounters, or were aware of these kings, and that lead to all of them kind of uniting, or stuff like that. But regardless, Vegapunk doesn't go into details. He explains this is his second sin. Despite being an agent of the government, he's not allowed to research it, but he did research it because the scholars of Ohara learn it. And we even see Soul there. We see him laughing in his in the Albath. I mean, it was that he lives in the Albath, so he's laughing there about the fact that this information is finally being brought out. As he explains to them about the information, and he says that he himself couldn't discover the entire history. You can do it if you read the poneglyphs, which we do actually see Robin when he's talking about this, but he didn't manage to read all the poneglyphs. Right now, he has a few bits of information, with only a few of them being facts, with the rest being his own speculation. Which, considering how Vegapunk talks about good and evil, he doesn't really want to express his speculation. Alright, I think it's very likely that this happened because this one king was evil. Or something like that. Again, I don't think we're supposed to, we can probably fill the blanks in, but we shouldn't be assuming the worst. Because, again, I feel like it's very likely that Oda is going to do something where it's yeah, the world government are bad guys, but they're not evil monsters. There is more of a reason behind that. Because despite how there's always someone who's very pure evil, like Don Quixote Flamingo's ancestor, there's probably gotta be a more. Alright, the entire group as a whole was moving in a good direction, but then, there was already a few corrupt members, and then for a time, the more corrupt members remained for longer periods, like Nefertari Lily, I believe it was, left, and then, and then maybe, the other ones who stayed, who were good, couldn't function anymore because of the scars of their actions and all that, so they kind of just became more in retirement while the more evil ones remain, general stuff. I feel like Oda is going to make it more morally gray It sounds just gonna be 19 cartoonishly evil people all playing, you know what? Let's go attack the other races. Let's go wipe out what's Kuma's race called? The Brigadines, I believe, or something called, or but whatever. Like we are just gonna do that. Like I don't think it's just gonna be that. It's gonna be complicated, obviously, but that's the reason why Vegapunk doesn't want to kind of it's fill the blanks in. And who knows? Maybe Vegapunk is even like fill the blanks in a bad way, like world government, pure evil sense, but more like, alright, this action probably forced this king to commit this atrocity and stuff like that. But but it's kind of like not really a good on either side thing. But regardless, we haven't mentioned this. And while he's talking about this voice century, we even see like the celestial dragons react to this, as we have a bunch of like world celestial dragons reacting to be like, "How dare you bring his? What the heck are you marine the idiots doing? Do your fucking job! Bring his corpse! I'll mutilate him!" As then we see like Saint Charla, Charles's little sister, as she's like, "Void Sentry? What's that?" As now, there's a bit of speculation on what's this going to reveal or what's this going to be mentioning this. I mean, we can see Im, but Imu doesn't have like a reaction to it. So, is Oda going to do anything with Saint Shala being reacting to this in a weird way? Like, what is the Void Sentry? Like, there's a lot of speculation around it. Like, maybe this is gonna get us to like know more about the Gods Knights. Like, what do they do? Because Masha is curious, so let me know this is gonna turn into a situation like this. But regardless, after this general information comes, we then get focused back to Asteroids. What they are doing is they're like, oh my god, Jinbei, Zoro, come off, we need to hurry. As they know something off is going on, as we see like a bunch of clouds forming a path, as we have the captain be like, oh, this is what Anderson meant when he said he was going to make a path for us to reach the sea. As they're like, as then the stratosphere and then the clouds are forming a like pathway, so it's kind of like a water slide down to the ocean, and that's what Anderson was planning to do. As we cut to the Anderson in that place where he was reprogrammed stuff, he's like, go on, Shards, I made your path. You better not get caught, as Anderson is there. And I'm guessing with how damaged he said he would be and how he's looking right now, Anderson's probably gonna die. Like, I'm not certain by how, or he's just going to be like, yeah, I'm too damaged, I will need mandatory repair quickly. I'm just going to just slowly shut down. So yeah, I'm imagining it's gonna be like that. Like, it's either gonna be a one down, or he's just gonna be destroying the chaos, or something like that. Like, we're gonna see how things are gonna resolve with this, with Anderson or not, but I'm guessing he's gonna get destroyed or something, or die, because that's the way how this is kind of done. Like, Oda has been killing all the Vegapunks a lot lately. Like, he killed Shaka, he killed Pythagoras, he killed the main Vegapunk. Anderson kind of looks like he's dying. The only ones that kind of remaining are Atlas, York, and Lilith. And York is also in a questionable area. Like, Lilith is, I think, like the only one who's in a somewhat survivable position, because Saturn left the battlefield with the Straw Hats, and the Straw Hats now have a way to escape. Just get on the ship. Jinbei and Zoro push the ship down as they get on. Like, Atlas is still on the battlefield against Ethan, so there's still a shot that she could die, but we don't know anymore. So, yeah, I guess might be the only one that's surviving this thing. I mean, I wouldn't get my hopes up. It's just, process of elimination, she has the biggest amount of chance to survive. But yeah, anyways, now we have the whole how the shots are gonna get away with this. We cut back to Luffy and Giants versus the Gosei, as we have the fire from what was the fire caused by again? I think it was Saturn's attack that was deflected, and then the attacks it caused to the Iron Giant just not having an effect on him, and then having an effect on buildings. But regardless, we have Dory and Boggy telling Luffy to run away. Stop making them laugh, as Vegapunk refers to the hero of this tale is definitely a man named Joy Boy, as he's also referencing how his abilities are pretty much a match for Luffy. Like he's describing the abilities that are what Luffy does. As Luffy is in his Gear 5 state, he's like, this I'll definitely make him, I'll make him squeal. As Luffy strikes him with his elephant gun in Gear 5, as even though he says that he's still in pain because of the pain he gets from, you know, uh, from Top Man's hive being really thick. So yeah, and we have Vegapunk revealing in the final page of the chapter that them that the Joy Boy was the first person to be called a pirate. So coming full circle kind of thing. Since a lot of theories are like that, saying that the end of the story because of this revelation that the true world is sunk underneath the sea, which will be like amazing how this is gonna look like when the world is gonna be cleansed of all the water. But regardless, the theories are going that that Luffy is gonna be like the one that's gonna end the piracy because there's not gonna be enough land for the world to need for pirates to be able to function. Unless it mean like around the world or something like that. Like we gotta see how the world's gonna look, but regardless, right now we find out Job was the first pirate or the first person called a pirate, while Luffy could be the one to end the whole point of piracy. But well, the term pirate. So yeah, it's kind of a full circle kind of thing going on here, but or set up for a full circle. But right now, that's not the situation. Anyway, this is the end of the chapter. Now on to the final two series, or the penultimate series in this case, with Chainsaw Man chapter 165 titled "Everyday Scenario." You know, like everyday things, like going out on a sunny day, going to a car, finding a dead person with a chainsaw coming out of his hat. You know, everyday stuff are being referenced in this chapter. So, yeah, anyways, we have this chapter with the characters going to the sushi place go on by a train as Danji notices a corpse of a guy. As Danji's like, well, there's a dead person here. Hello, is no one going to act? As the characters are just like, yeah, that's kind of every day now. Like, you've missed a lot of things. Like, this is just someone's going to eventually clean it up things. So, yeah, just go. As Danji is just shocked by the normalcy in this with this. As then we have Fami telling us about about the sushi places they're going for. She's like, "Alright, this is the number one place. I think it not, but everyone died, so no longer it's not a thing. There's a second best place, but but it's possibly burned down. It's not very clear, but there is rumors about being that area was burned down. So our third option would be this place, who has a good reputation when it comes to what seafood they use. So yeah, Fami and Kurumi really do need to meet each other. Like they would be good friends. Anyways, as they are all sitting down the train, getting ready to get to that third place because of eat some sushi. Danji asks also like, why do you want to fight me and all that? Is that weird brainwashing cult stuff still? As Asa tells him that I want to fight you to save you from the Chainsaw Man. And she does it in like a very unclear way, as Danji's even confused by it still. As Asa tells Fami, Fami, tell him what I mean! As Fami's like, well, you see, Danji, we need to break your curse, and for that you need to return to your normal life. So, once you get your sanity back to normal, or at least get some life back into you, we'll be able to, and Asa will be, and we'll break your contract. You'll be, and Asa can then kill Chainsaw Devil, and you'll be able to have a normal life. As then we have Denji just wondering what would be his normal life because they need to break it. Because his normal life is a lot more, how shall I say, non-existent. Like when he was a child, he lived in the slums, and even as a kid, he not only did he kill his father, which he needed to repress, but he also needed to eat teepee and a whole bunch of other stuff that he couldn't, stuff that normal people would not consider. Like, it's not normal for people to, like, eat out of a public toilet paper, eat no public toilet paper because, it's weird, but Danji needed to survive because he was hungry. As us also tries to describe what a normal life is, but Danji kind of doesn't have that. He cannot go to school anymore because his spent once if because of schools are probably being shut down at this point because of everything that's going on. But I don't know, maybe they're forced for it being kept open. He can't go home because his home was burned down with all of his pets, and his little sister is currently they don't know where she is, but she could be that. For they know. Also, like, to be fair, Asadas tried to comfort him, be like, oh, right. She could be very likely to be kept somewhere else. Like, maybe the police got her, sent her somewhere to be safe. Maybe the public safety commission is keeping her locked up somewhere. Like, we can find her. I'm sure she'll turn up eventually. But Danji is basically done with because, like, I don't have a normal life. Everything life I want, the most basic stuff, I can't have because they are all, like, always end up getting destroyed and doubled. But regardless, Asa wants to relate to Danji and wants to how she can kind of view his perspective. She will work to help him to give him a normal life that he craves. Because right now he doesn't. But anyways, as they're all talking with this, as you might remember, this group that was not just Asa, Danji, Fami, and those two idiots. Well, actually, I think it was three idiots, but I don't think we see the eye patch guy in this chapter because there was someone else there, and that someone else is Katana Man. Being a child, like, damn it, you kids are all just a bunch of women and whining about your problem stuff. My father would be growing in his grave. As he starts smoking, as starts no smoking on the train, and he just throws the cigar on the floor after that. As he tells him, I'll tell you how we solve this issue. The only way a real bad solution is solved, and that is a brothel. That's right. Nothing makes me happier than boiling a woman. As we have Kutaba saying that, as Dan just like, So, yeah, and Kodama Man even knows a brothel that's very nearby, so, or at the very least knows a brothel that they could go to. Not sure if it's still there, but they could probably go there. But maybe it is. Who knows really what these guys were doing while they were waiting for Denji to wake up. But anyways, they are planning to go to a brothel now. Not sure this is gonna go well, especially since Asa would probably have, if anyone's gonna fuck Denji, it's gotta be me. Kind of thing, but we'll see if Asa will have protests. Although to be fair, if they're going to wait, can you in a brothel, can you only fuck the staff, or can you fuck if you bring someone with you? Like, well, regardless, we'll see how someone is gonna fuck who's gonna fuck who in this situation. But or if there's even gonna be fucking or just sushi eating. But regardless, brothel might be where we're going next, and I'm not against it. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the chapter with them possibly going to a brothel. But anyways, now to the final series of the week, being Redragon chapter 13, titled Don't Need to Be Besties. True, more or less. So yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with Ruri giving the classic, the thing where the teachers want students who are in charge of clubs and all that to give information on a special day, and being the sports committee, as Ruri is telling them all that information. But everyone's kind of bored by this information, but because Ruri has horns, and she herself is finding this information very boring and she's very nervous about speaking to so many people out loud, even if it's just like giving information. She is kind of more noticeable than a normal person. Be like, wow, that girl sure has horns. Well, like, that's so weird. So they're kind of just focusing on that thing. With some of the classmates even being like, wow, she's really kind of made for this when you look at her when it comes to like giving boy information. So yeah. Anyways, then we have you're giving all the information out as Kashiro talks with Ruri about Maido, and she's like, "Wow, you can really tell you two do not get along or anything like that because during that whole time when Ray was talking, Maido was just like, I don't have to be with this girl." So yeah, we have Yuri talking to Kashiro about it, as he's even asking like, "Hey, do you two know each other by any chance? Because you invite her to join and all that, and you seem to know more about her." As Kashiro tells Yuri that yeah, they were together since like middle school, so high school, so they were together for a while now. You could kind of say they're like those weird kind of people in classes who, despite constantly being swapped around or changed, like they're always with you, which is nice to have someone like that. But it doesn't seem like Kashiro and Maida are that close together. Just they were friends for a while. And Kashia also reveals to Rory that the reason why Mana is so blunt and kind of like staring daggers at people, it's more her general personality. It's like not like a specific, oh, she hates Rory because it's only Rory kind of thing. It's more like, oh, she would be staring daggers to normally to everyone. It's just that you're a special case, Rory, but it's not that out of the normal. It's just you have a bit more of it than normal people, than most of the class would have. But yeah, anyways, we get some information on that. Jeanette, as then we have Rory and her other best friend, which is also funny enough, like the least developed one, least focused one, kind of going through some of the concepts they have to do for the competition, as they'll like have to like do drawings for the background or something, as then trying to make the sports that stand out as as we have Rui and her friend like going through some, and Rui is trying to like come up with something, but nothing's really clicking with her until like another classmate shows up who's a very talented artist and made like a very good art for the competition, like two rivaling cats like getting ready for a fight or something thing, and it just and the art of this one does draw them in, and this is also kind of supposed to show that Rui the what was referenced in the last chapter about Rui not caring about other people, as she's not able to remember this girl's name while everyone else can kind of remember their names, which is something that even okay, you guys don't need to leave it so thick, the fact that Rui doesn't know people's names. But yeah, anyways, she Rui kind of remembers the whole story with the dragon and all that. With Uryu, how it's a codfish that tries to swim up the waterfall until it does swim over the waterfall and then it turns into a dragon, which she draws. But her art is very shitty. Like, you need art lessons like yesterday, but you can kind of tell the concept. As then Rui goes to discuss this with Mado and to give some of the concepts that she already got, as she gives the girl that she couldn't remember the name of, as Mado's immediately able to recognize this girl because as Rui is like, what? Just from the art, surprised that she's able to recognize it, just the girl just from the art, because Rui even called her like, what's her name? Just give me this art because she can't remember. As Samantha says, like, yeah, everyone knows that she's a talented artist. Obviously, she would have this piece. This is clearly her. As and Marzia saying that you don't even know that information, which, to be fair, to be fair, Rui spent a whole week off, and because in the whole dragon situation, I don't think you really would remember all that information, especially if you're like one of those people who just kind of comes to school, hangs with the people you usually hang, and then go home. So I don't really think that weird that Rui would not know this girl's name and know the fact that she's an artist. And even if you know that she's an artist, it doesn't mean the fact that you know her, you can recognize, most people could recognize her just from art alone. Like, a lot of people could, like, even the Maido is there to be a really good at art, even if she's inferior to that girl that gave the initial concept, it's kind of like they are both good artists. So it's how you can really tell everyone from each other. But anyways, Rui and Naito kind of make small talk and in a way where they can do when they can kind of get along better, especially now with the at least try. All you have to do to remember people is just try to remember people's names to their faces. Like if someone comes to talk to you, at least try to remember their names. Which to in Japan, I think it's their last names, but whatever. They tell her to do that, and because anyone else can at least do that. Like everyone can at least remember their names, which again I'm not entirely convinced that it's maybe just really not able to remember people's names. Like I don't know why it's such a big deal the fact you can't remember everyone's names. It's just something that's gonna happen, especially if you're off the school as much as Ruri has been. But regardless, Ruri tries as agrees, but they can't really do much. And then Ruri also gives her concept about like the whole story about the Uryu. As first it is I don't know joke about how terrible an artist she is. Like you can tell what it is it's supposed to be, but Jesus Christ, someone else. Please, someone else has to do it off because you are awful in it. As Ruri's like, please stop it, but they agree, but Mona agrees, like, yeah, let's throw out your idea in the competition, in the next meeting, as then we get like a little time jump from them talking about the whole thing, as then Ruri has lunch, is a cafeteria buying some lunch, and is wondering if, that if she has a good chance of now being friends with Maida and all that. As then after she buys the lunch, she tells the rest of her friends that she will be dining with someone else. Not well, she tells her that she won't be dining with them today, but because today she's planning to dine with Maya to try to get again, be a bit closer to her and do a bit more. As then she goes to Maya, she asks her, "Hey, is anyone else eating with you tonight? Well, today because they eat kind of together." As Maya's like, no, but we decided, well, in that case, I could eat with you, and they kind of share lunch, which everyone's kind of surprised because Rui is not really the top person to, start the whole friendship talks or coming to ask someone if they could eat lunch together. They're kind of surprised by it, means it's probably going to be a bit of an awkward beginning, first couple of pages with Rui and Maya, because, like, yeah, Rui is now eating together, but like, what are they going to discuss exactly? Like, it's easy to ask someone that they sit together, but like, what are you going to talk about, especially since each other don't really know one another's interests? Maybe you're just going to be like, well, I would like to know more about your interests, like, or something. Maybe I was going to be like, can you tell me more about yourselves? Since we're going to be spending a lot of time, we should probably know each other a bit more than just name to the face, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I could see something like that happening, but we have to wait and see. But yeah, anyways, this is the end for the chapters I've been reading this week. A relatively less chapters than usual, but regardless, it's not like every week's gonna be like a ton of chapters to discuss. But yeah, anyways, so I hope you like this video. I hope you leave your thoughts on the chapters you've read and chapters I've read this week, as well as the chapters you've read this week in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Bye.